Hello, everyone. Sarah from 3Chairs here, and I'm with Claire. We're sitting down today to catch up on answering some of the questions that came through in the launch event. We ran out of time, so we're going to get to those questions now. Are you ready, Claire? Okay, the first question. Do you work with other health practitioners? For example, it can take over a year to get an appointment with a child psychologist. Would working with you help in the interim?
Absolutely. I love working with other people, other professionals. I mean, that's really the only way that you can arrive at the most optimum or effective solution or strategy in helping someone with their psychological issues. Because everyone comes to the table with different experiences, different specializations, and different perspectives. So, for a true collaboration, what you end up with is a real, I guess, discussion and exploration of what the issues are, and even exploring the different treatment types or approaches that we can take in order to nip it in the bud, as it were.
Mhm. Great, thank you. Okay, and our next question. What strategies do you find most effective for managing anxiety?
The best way to manage anxiety is to recognize that you are feeling anxious. In many ways, a lot of people say that it kind of crept up on me, and and suddenly it was already a DEFCON 5. DEFCON 5, is that the worst one, or is it DEFCON 1? I don't know. But I think the easiest way to tackle anxiety is try and address it when it hasn't taken so much of a hold on you. So if you can exercise preventative measures in your daily life, all the better. So things like keeping a journal or a daily diary of your thoughts, exploring how you feel about certain things. If just say if you feel slighted in any way or concerned about something, putting things down on paper and decomposing the reasons for how you feel and what you're feeling is usually really effective in understanding the causes of any distress that you might feel, and therefore alleviating that negative affect. If you find as well that you tend to experience anxiety daily or much more frequently than, say, most other people that you know, a really good thing is to exercise self-care. In particular, identifying the activities that you enjoy doing just for you. So in some of my videos, you would have seen some of my crocheted
Yep.
creations. I love doing that because it's something that I do for myself, even though with the end product, I give them away. But it is something that I like doing. It's very regimental. It calms me down. It makes me focus on something else outside of, say, something that could be bugging me at the time. So that's key. So doing something that you enjoy doing that gives you joy, fulfillment, and takes you away, even if it's momentarily, from something or a situation or an issue that is causing you a bit of grief. Because when you get back to it, you might find that you've got a clearer mind to then understand the best way to address that issue. So yeah, just mainly just sort of exploring the reasons for the anxiety that you're feeling, so decomposing that. And then, you might realize that actually it's not really as big a deal as I've made it out to be, because, I've just been totally immersed in this problem or this issue. But once I've decomposed, the various elements of it, it might not actually seem insurmountable. And then the other thing is self-care. So engaging oneself in activities that you enjoy just for you.
I love that. And I feel like I can definitely use some of that advice in my own life.
I do as well. I exercise that myself.
Yeah. You actually made me think of a question, another follow-up question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Um, so we kind of hear sometimes that a bit of anxiety is healthy, it helps to keep us safe. How does one establish at what point maybe that balance has tipped to it starting to become unhealthy or becoming a bit more of a problem that we need to sort of look into?
Okay, that's a great question. One way to, I guess, recognize if, the anxiety that you're feeling is potentially disordered. So, disorder just means where, it's probably not the normal type of anxiety that's all about self preservation, is when it starts to stop you from doing what you were doing before. So, for instance, if, in the past you'd go out and about with friends and, go to restaurants and cafes and enjoy their company. But then you find that, sometime later, you start feeling anxious about being in open spaces or socializing in a very public arena. That's when, and then you start to, you opt to say no, I don't actually want to go out, and socialize anymore. I want to stay at home all the time. That's probably when it's starting to get a bit disordered because it's stopping you from doing what you enjoyed previously. So anxiety is self-preserving if it stops you from doing something dangerous. Like, for instance, some people like myself don't like jaywalking, whereas other people I know do. They see it as, a quick way to get from A to B, whereas I'm, pretty comfortable walking to the crosswalk or the pedestrian crossing or where there's a traffic light. So I do feel a bit of anxiety whenever, I'm being encouraged to jaywalk. And that anxiety comes from a fear of getting hit by a car. So, in that sense, that anxiety is not disordered because it is there to prevent you from doing something dangerous that could potentially end your life. So, that would be the difference. And I have never jaywalked in the past. So, it's not something that, I'm thinking, well, I used to jaywalk before. But,
Mhm.
if by the earlier example I gave, I love socializing with family and friends, going outside, supporting local businesses like cafes, restaurants, you know, enjoying, different cuisines and alcohol and all the rest of it. But if I suddenly started saying, you know what, I start making excuses for not going out. It's too cold. I've got so many things on. I know deep down, and if it's consistent over a period of time, like a number of weeks, then I know there's something up there. And if I'm feeling this negative affect in going outside for whatever reason, I would instantly, refer to my journal and find out where my thoughts about going outside started to change, because from there I'll probably identify the causes of this change in feeling that I have and then address that.
Mhm.
So did that answer your question?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. I think that it's a really good measure to sort of establish, was I comfortable with this before? I'm not comfortable with it now. Has something changed? And I think that tip about keeping that journal as well is so useful, because I know, day-to-day life gets so busy. We have lots going on. Sometimes it can be a bit hard to, remember or keep track, but it's a really good way of, I guess, yeah, giving yourself that like point of reference for yourself. So, yeah.
To do an autobiography later in life, you can always consult those journals.
Ah, forward planning. I love
Yeah.
it. That's great, Claire. Thank you so much for answering those follow-up questions. So this video will be posted on the 3Chairs Therapy website, along with the footage from the launch event as well. So everyone can refer back to that and refer to this if they want any more information.
Much, Sarah.
Thanks, Claire.
Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.